And firstly, who knows something about cognitive science? Is there the notion or like that? Yeah, we have some guys. Great. And the guys from technical, great. So before we start, I will just make the short introduction and some joke about myself. So who am I? As I said already, but additionally, I'm working for Heuristics Group, which is an online marketing classifieds platform. We are not operating in Hungary, unfortunately, yet. But generally, we facilitate the thing for the people who wants to sell or buy some stuff, the used one. And that's an amazing monolith. We try to do the microservices now. And I'm working in trust and safety department for that. So it's like the global market, but local focus. And apart from that, I'm also the sprinter. So I do sprints at work and after work. And the good thing about it is that I can eat so many cookies and I'm still seeing the same. So sprints are okay. And I'm also the leader of Girls Who Test group, which is we are teaching the others how to test, how to think about software, doing some workshops, lectures, and so on. I'm also a member of the Polish testing board. So this conference is from Hungarian testing board. I'm from Polish testing board. Both testing boards are okay. Then coming to the next thing, I would like to make a short decomposition of the title, because the title is Cognitive Approach to Software Quality. So if we all here supposedly love software quality, is someone who does not like software quality here? Okay, you can say it later. But if you love software quality, you want to be a great tester and also a little bit a coach for others, right? For developers, for UX designers, for product managers, project managers, security engineers, and all the stuff. That also applies to test automation engineers, of course. So I would like today to start with a few words about the humanity. So cognitive means about the perceptual thing, and it's about us, like the humans. Then I would like to conduct you through the cognitive scientific research about our brain and mind. You can use that as arguments in your work. When you have always an intuition, right? That it should be like that, not this. But sometimes you lack the arguments. So hopefully I can deliver you some arguments today. Not only about usability, not only graphical design, but also generally the approach to software. And in the end, I would like to show how to incorporate all those rules and knowledge into the daily development life cycle, into the quality engineering, actually. So with these components, in the end, we should come to something like cognitive quality definition, and hopefully it will be very useful for your work and thinking. So the main statement of today's presentation and what I would like to deliver you is that humans use the machines, so coding software, to create the software, the product, for other humans, for the end users, for the customers. That's quite a simple statement, but in fact, it's really important to be able to think and to deliver the great value to the product. So start with humanity aspects. So we are all human software users. No matter what our work is, we are still human. We should deal with that. But machines and software products are not humans. And that's tricky. It seems kind of obvious, but if you need to translate something to the machine language, it's not that obvious already. And in the end, we are also software developers, testers here. So we are humans who try to translate our product into machine language to be able to translate the value to the end users, also humans. I hope you can see this tricky thing here. So what humanity actually means? Generally, we are error-prone, based on our experiences, where and how we were raised as the kids, and what are our experiences with education, with conferences, with meetups, with self-education. we have some beliefs in our minds, and we got biased very easily. It also can be a sympathy thing that my friend does like this serial or this software, and I like this software too. So it's not objective, right? We are not objective at all. We tend to be stable, not like that. We tend to be emotional about things that we should not be. And we are still like to be interested in other humans, if we will admit that or not. At least to our beloved ones. If we are really keen on somebody, we got interested about himself, herself. And of course, that's a great part. We are very unique. Everyone is here unique. But the same it means that we are not deterministic. So it's really hard to forecast how one person will behave in one situation. If this developer, I do not know him, I'm not sure how much jokes he can stand. Should I joke or not? Or better to have other approach before I will come with my real things? Well, and at least we are very creative. We can do things in many creative ways. And meaning this, it's a bit different to the software thing, to how machines look like and work like. We will be back to this issue later. Then, as the human development team members, we still have these limitations and abilities in our brains. So if we still working like humans, but we need to solve some non-human problems, right? Like the software problems, like which application layer is okay, which not, what technology to join, what the solution is good for this product and this situation. So it's really tricky for human brain to think like a software. And this thing is really great in terms of life and of being interested in the world, but it's even much more tricky in terms of software development, because we have like globalization teams, and America works with Asia, Europe, and so on, and we have other backgrounds, so it does not help in creating great products in terms of software, but it does help in terms of end users. So we are rich about that, about the cognitive variety and neurodiversity, but we need to learn how to use that instead of arguing how to cooperate for a better product software. And it's like totally crazy for a software. We cannot translate that into any coding language. It's just our human being, and it makes even more harder to do the good quality for all the people in the whole world. So generally it's about that we need still be validating our work together. Like human, software human, like software with humans. Like developer trying to code without error, which is supposed to be impossible. It's bad, but we are still doing that because our world is based on software currently. So that's the point. How we can communicate with the machines or via the machines with other people. So some part about cognitive science research. Actually, I started talking about using that word, but I suppose you kindly know about it. But let's transform the definition. So cognitive means generally about human brain and mind, about the capabilities and the limitations. And there are many of them. But it's also about the processes which are touching the software too. So it's about interfaces. We see, we hear, we touch. And it's some kind of factors in development too, because we need to think out how the human user will be using our software and to design the interactions, the controls, everything in the layer of application. Also in terms of business logic inside, back-end side, front-end side, it all means that the final result will be friendly for the people or not. And it's crucial to be able to be aware about it. And of course, cognitive means also the cultural values, which already have been mentioned before. And that's even more tricky, how to incorporate cultural values into the software product. But probably it's doable. So as the humans, we are really biased by many things. I'm not sure if you know the change blindness notion. That was some experiment about this gorilla, that people who was so focusing on the counting how many balls were checked between the people, that they couldn't focus so much to see the gorilla just passing away. So it is about software development too, because when we are so focused on one feature, for example, testing it end to end, we got biased and cannot see maybe other bugs around. Of course, you don't need to see all the bugs in one time, but sometimes it could be a really critical thing. So you cannot switch, you cannot see the whole context, because you're just straight, like the auto-straight here. The other bias is the Dunning-Kruger effect, which means that if you're in the beginning on your journey as a specialist, it's really easy for you to think that you're on the best on the top already. But the deeper you go, the more knowledge you have, more experiences, more projects, then you notice that it's not here yet. Then you can go this way to the very expert. So it's like the gap of being too self-confident. And it also means that you can do more bugs in your software when you're a developer, or to omit some things as the tester. Some other things. I bet that you know something about heuristics, or the word at least. Okay. Heuristic is the very simple algorithm of executing some tasks. So unless we have heuristics in our brain, we are able to act very quickly and to switch and adapt to the situation quite well. So it's a really good thing. But otherwise, if we have too much schemas about culture, about other people, or we tend to evaluate the person or the software written by the person too early, then we got biased and we are not objective at all. So schemas reasoning and heuristics and following them is really a good thing, but we need to be very careful in terms of evaluating others, like the persons and other software, others' code. So it could be the learning from code review, that really be friendly and ask even more questions before you just fail it, or if you will argue about some bug in the code. I showed this about usability rules. So if you have UX designer or someone with qualitative research in your company, it's good to talk with them, because they're really great in it, to better understand how we as the humans work like, and how to create a software friendly to the human brain. Attention span is a time when we are able to pay attention to the very one straight thing. For example, like you're now probably listening to myself, and it's just 12 seconds for the slide that in 2000 you could focus on. And now we are 2019, and probably it's even worse than goldfish attention span, because presented here research is by Microsoft, and well, we were 12, we were 8, and now I'm afraid we're even until 8. What does it mean actually for us as software developers, testers? It means that we really need to be helpful and do great error handling, and all the contexts, all the contents for the errors be easily accessible and visible and understandable for the users. Otherwise, they got really upset with our software. I probably will not happy to use that, and we want them to use that. It's also a part of quality. If the satisfaction is okay and if they are back. So think about attention span, if we have too much content or it's too busy for a human being end user. Selective attention versus perceptual overload. So mainly it's the myth of being context switching and that we have multitask. So it's not. I'm afraid I would like to, but we are hardly sequential. So if it's no pure queue where the person should focus in, probably they got lost. So if we have too much contents, too much visual things, or the business logic is too complex, probably we tend to have some more bugs or errors, or we cannot understand what the software actually does and what we are supposed to do next. The other thing are the general perceptual limitations example. So this is some view in a mobile screen, in some smartphone. The text is in Polish. You can see some form, and you probably experience many forms in your life, so you think it's the form, but it's the assumption, right? And actually, as the humans, we were not that happy with this view, probably. But for machine, it's okay. The HTML, JavaScript, React, or anything in the front end, it's there. It's already instantly accessible. So we don't need to think how it's built. So that's our limitation. We are software developers, but if we do not work about this software, we are not 100% sure what is behind. And coming to the quality engineering, how to incorporate it more. So that's a general definition, I would suppose, for software quality. And the special ingredients to that is the humanity as the technical requirement. So if you have the human as the advocate of the cognitive science in your software development team, you can just pop up sometimes and say that, come on, this meeting is not effective anymore. We cannot focus anymore. Let's switch to the next day, or let's prepare that later. Let's refocus the planning and so. Can you remember the slide about the humanity? Being error-prone, emotional, unstable, that's what software means more. For me, it seems like totally opposite, but still we should marry somehow, software and humans, because we are human developers doing some software product for other humans. So if software is like logic, deterministic, does not care about human itself, we need to code every interaction, everything we want to deliver in the software, we need to think it out and code it somehow in any technology to the software. Because in itself, it does not understand anything we want to translate and to deliver to other people. So yeah, machines are software, not humans, no feelings, no translation, no cultural variety. And that's all about the quality in the end, that it's really hard to make other humans thinking like we are thinking, but we need somehow to do that by the software product. And we can measure the quality, we can have great quality metrics and be able to deliver the great technology, but if we do not know what we want to deliver to the human end users, how the perceived quality should look like, then all our design and knowledge and technology doesn't matter at all, because it's not applicable to these humans, to this product and users. And the same about being explainable. If you can handle to translate it to your friend, how the software is look like, how it should work, what the value it brings, it's okay. But then you need to project how to translate it to your code and how to test it, what strict critical thinking is here. This is the drawing of definition of ready and the definition of done. You don't need in daily development cycle, but if you need to explain somehow to the other role, for example, developer presenting to the tester or tester presenting to the product manager or each other in some common session, it's better to use even such a drawing to make it explainable and easy to understand for the other person in favor of the development and less bugs later. So firstly, we should understand each other as the humans to be able to create a great software together in the end. And start it as early as you can. Probably it's easily common for you. But do not wait to any testing phase in SDLC. Just do that as early as you can. And also, all time long. There's nothing like the time for quality, because the time for the quality is from the very beginning to the very end. And all the purpose of that is to make the cognitive quality, so which is friendly not only to the end users, but creates also software developer experience. The testers are happier, the product manager know what exactly will be delivered. So having these all cognitive rules in mind probably makes our work happier and better. And hopefully also the final quality makes it better. So please state that in your mind. Pop up with someone asks questions, or if you lack some arguments to your intuitions, you can always say that we are humans and we use machines technology to create software product for other humans. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aleksandra. We have a couple of questions. The first, you said we are emotional and we shouldn't be. Why not? Is not it one of our biggest advantage that we have emotions?
Yeah, actually, I meant that in creating software it does not help, but in life and generally it's a beautiful thing, for sure. And sometimes it can help unless we are aware of that. So if you're seeing the same bug, instead of being angry for the developer, let's explain, talk better to avoid it in the future. So it's more about the situational thing that just, I'm not saying that emotions are bad at all, like themselves.
It's really good to hear, thank you. Yeah, would you say multitasking is a necessary evil of tester's job or something we should try to avoid at all costs?
I experienced many times that I think I need to multitask, but in fact it's better like time management and explaining to your manager, for example, or for colleagues that your work will be of worse quality if they force you to do few things in the same time, and you need just time box that. So it's the art of priority. I mean, it's always something more important, but you need to focus from what side. If it's for you important, or for your manager, or crucial for your project, and just to make a sequence of by the priority and the validity. So do not think that multitasking is existing, then the life will be probably a bit simpler.
Okay, thank you. Do you think using AI will make communication easier in teams from cognitive perspective when AI will be part of the team?
If the AI will not be biased by the human projectants, then for sure, yes. So actually we had some gig bots who were, let's say, reminding us about the feedback and saying, let's talk to your colleague, maybe he's upset or she is happy, and let's share some thoughts together. So it was like the very low-level AI, not like intelligent one, but actually it helps because it reminds us that all we are humans and should support each other in a team. So yeah, AI will definitely help if it's not biased in that way.
Thank you. And the last one, what do you think, is it possible or would it be beneficial to slow down in our fast-paced world to have better software quality?
That's a tricky question because every project is a little bit another one, and in terms of culture, in pace, and what the technology it is, how much knowledge you have. So sometimes maybe it's not about how fast, slow, but what people you have around, how they communicate. So, well, for sure it's good to have sometimes a longer moment to talk and to have more sincere thoughts, or to integrate each other, to go to have some beer together. But it's not about the time in the project. It's more like beside things. So yeah, generally being under pressure and stress does not help. But if it's term of fast, slow, I'm not sure. Okay, thank you. I think we have time only for one more question.
how would you approach a product? Okay, let me finish that one. How would you approach a product for international market, adopt by region, or create an overall approach?
So that's the art of localization, and I believe in UX research. I mean the research with end users. So, for example, we are actually having that in Ukraine, India, Argentina, and Poland, we have UX locally based teams who are talking with the people, trying to consider the new UX designs with them, collecting feedback, and then our development teams are listening that and trying to customize as much as we can without creating new technology debt. But yeah, generally it's possible. You just need to have people outside in these local markets who will gather for you some feedback. And of course, you can also fly to this country. That's a really nice occasion to know each other. And yeah, so it's just a human thing to listen and to talk.